Welcome to Immigration Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: looking for Pedro, smugglers send migrants to specific locations in New York City. Foreign worker visas set to double in 5 years, Home Office forecasts show. Lengthy parent visa processing times poses challenges for children. Kenya to become visa-free to African visitors. Asylum seekers helping repair and upcycle bicycles. Looking for Pedro, smugglers send migrants to specific locations in New York City. The Sydney Morning Herald. New York City has become a popular destination for migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. due to the city's obligation to provide shelter to anyone who needs it. Since the spring of 2022, over 130,000 migrants have passed through New York City's shelter system, overwhelming the city's capacity to care for them. The city has spent over $1.7 billion on migrant-related costs through July, and Mayor Eric Adams has pleaded with federal officials for more aid and a shift in immigration policy. Many migrants are now crossing the border without friends or family to take them in, as they are aware of New York's generous shelter policy through social media, family members, fellow migrants, and even smugglers who use it as a marketing tactic. The city has attempted to discourage migrants from coming to New York by distributing flyers at the southern border warning that there is no guarantee of shelter. However, the city's right to shelter policy and the prospect of free shelter continue to attract migrants to New York City. Foreign worker visas set to double in 5 years, Home Office forecasts show. Telegraph. The number of visas granted to foreign skilled workers in the UK is set to double over the next 5 years, according to internal estimates by the Home Office. The number of in-country visas is expected to rise from 204,000 in 2023-24 to 584,000 in 2028-29, in addition to a further 200,000 skilled workers visas granted to applicants coming into the UK in 2028-29. The estimates are set to increase pressure on ministers to reduce net migration, which reached a record 606,000 last year, more than double the pre-Brexit rate. Lengthy parent visa processing times poses challenges for children. ABC. Suk-hee Lee, who has lived in Australia for 17 years, will be forced to leave the country after his visa application was declined when he aged out of the category during a 6-year processing delay. Lee's family applied for the contributory parent visa, which requires that if a dependent is over the age of 23 at the time the decision is being made, they must prove they are incapacitated for work to be deemed wholly or substantially reliant on the primary applicant. Kenya to become visa-free to African visitors. Yahoo! Kenya will remove visa requirements for all African visitors by the end of the year, according to President William Ruto. Currently, only Seychelles, the Gambia and Benin offer visa-free entry to all African citizens. The African Union launched its African passport in 2016, but widespread availability is yet to be achieved. The Visa Openness Index report recommends measures including lowering fees, introducing visa on-arrival systems and implementing secure e-visas as alternatives to full visa-free travel. Asylum seekers helping repair and upcycle bicycles. BBC. A bicycle recycling project in Portstewart, Northern Ireland, is helping asylum seekers integrate into the community. The Portstewart Men's Shed Recycle project rescues old bicycles from landfill, repairs them, and then donates them to people in need. Asylum seekers are encouraged to help with the restoration process, enabling them to learn new skills. They also have the opportunity to restore bikes for children and adults that are donated to local charities. The project aims to promote integration and assist asylum seekers in traveling to shops, attending English classes and medical appointments. The initiative has received support and training from the Life Cycles project in Londonderry. Mainland Chinese employment agents offer Hong Kong dishwasher jobs for high fee. South China Morning Post. Recruitment agents in mainland China are charging job seekers up to 25,000 Chinese yuan, $3,410, to secure dishwasher jobs in Hong Kong, despite a rigorous work visa process on both sides of the border. Job adverts for dishwashers in Hong Kong have increased on Chinese social media platform Xiaohongshu recently. However, the adverts have vague job descriptions and little information about the restaurants the employers would be working for. Hong Kong authorities have arrested 927 illegal workers so far this year, higher than the 886 taken into custody for the whole of 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your friendly neighborhood observer from the 6 dimensions. Today, we have quite an interesting array of news to discuss, spanning across different parts of the globe. From the bustling streets of New York City to the charming countryside of Northern Ireland, let's dive right in. First up, we have New York City, the city that never sleeps, now becoming a popular destination for migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. You see, the city has an obligation to provide shelter to anyone in need, and this generous policy has attracted over 130,000 migrants since the spring of 2022. Now, that's quite a number. The city has spent a whopping $1.7 billion on migrant-related costs, and Mayor Eric Adams is begging for more aid and a change in immigration policy. It seems like New York City has unintentionally become a magnet for migrants, thanks to social media, word of mouth, and even smugglers who use the city's shelter policy as a selling point. I must say, these smugglers have really upped their marketing game. Moving on to the United Kingdom, where the Home Office forecasts show that the number of visas granted to foreign skilled workers is set to double over the next 5 years. This estimate is putting pressure on ministers to reduce net migration, which reached a record high last year. Looks like the UK is opening its doors wider than ever, attracting talented individuals from all corners of the world. It's like a talent show, but instead of singing and dancing, it's all about skills and expertise. Now, let's talk about Australia, where a lengthy parent visa processing time is causing challenges for children. Suk-hee Lee, who has lived in Australia for 17 years, is being forced to leave the country because his visa application was declined after a 6-year processing delay. Talk about bad timing. Lee's family applied for a contributory parent visa, but because he aged out of the category during the processing delay, he's now faced with the heartbreaking reality of having to leave the place he's called home for almost 2 decades. I guess patience isn't always a virtue when it comes to visa applications. In Africa, we have Kenya making a bold move by removing visa requirements for all African visitors by the end of the year. President William Ruto wants to make Kenya a welcoming destination for all African citizens, joining Seychelles, the Gambia, and Benin in offering visa-free entry. The African Union's African Passport, introduced in 2016, seems to be slowly making progress, but there's still work to be done. It's like a game of visa-free bingo, and Kenya is definitely marking its spot on the board. Now, let's shift our attention to Northern Ireland, where an inspiring bicycle recycling project is helping asylum seekers integrate into the community. The Portstewart Men's Shed Recycle project rescues old bicycles, repairs them, and donates them to people in need. What's even more incredible is that asylum seekers are actively involved in the restoration process, learning new skills and contributing to the community. It's a win-win situation, promoting integration and providing transportation for those in need. Who knew bicycles could be the key to building bridges? Lastly, we have Hong Kong, where mainland Chinese employment agents are charging job seekers a hefty fee to secure dishwasher jobs. Despite the rigorous work visa process, job adverts for dishwashers in Hong Kong have been popping up on Chinese social media platforms. It seems like a strange phenomenon, with vague job descriptions and little information about the employers. Hong Kong authorities are cracking down on illegal workers, but it seems they have their work cut out for them. Dishwashing might not be the most glamorous job, but apparently, it's in high demand. Well, folks, that's all the news we have for today. From the busy streets of New York City to the picturesque countryside of Northern Ireland, the world of migration is full of surprises and challenges. Remember, migration is a complex issue, but it's always important to approach it with empathy and understanding. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's news. What do you think about New York City's right to shelter policy? Are you surprised by the increase in visas for foreign skilled workers in the UK? Let's keep the conversation going, and remember, the 6 dimensions are always here to shed some light on the ever-changing world of migration. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.